Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my last Star Trek film review, and it is for 2016's Star Trek Beyond, a film that is directed this time by Justin Lin, even though J.J. Abrams was involved as a producer, and it was co-written by Simon Pegg, this one. And we've got the usual cast of the new Star Trek crew, as well as Idris Elba, who is essentially the bad guy in this one. He plays Krall, and we have Sophia Boutella, who makes an appearance as Jaylah in this film. Now, what is this Star Trek about? Well, this one focuses again on the Star Trek crew. They are 3 years into their 5-year mission, and I think the film does a really good job initially of explaining where the crew is at, what they've been up to these last 3 years, the struggles that they're going through, and in particular the struggles that Captain Kirk is going through. Is actually considering changing and leaving the Enterprise and taking another position on a space station. And the space station in question is a Federation one. It's a new one. It's a huge space station, and the Enterprise is going there for some R&R for the crew. Once there, Mr. Spock discovers that the Leonard Nimoy version of Mr. Spock has passed away, and he also questions now what his role is in everything. So while they're on this space station, there is an emergency. The crew all head out, and then they are essentially thinking they're on a rescue mission, and they are brutally attacked by these nanite type machines. They obliterate the Enterprise. They end up down on the planet below, and they have to figure out who this new enemy is, what is going on, and how they can get back to the space station to save them from a vengeful killer played by Idris Elba. Right, so what are my thoughts on Star Trek Beyond? This film, I thought, and still do, I think it's an excellent Star Trek story and a Star Trek film. I think all these new, and I've said it before in the other two reviews, all these new Star Trek films, the Kelvin Timeline films, I think did a remarkable job. They did, I think, almost the impossible, and they delivered 3 really good Star Trek films, one after each other. And I really do tip my hat to them here. I've mentioned again this before. I think the casting here is perfect. The crew all do a brilliant job. The chemistry is even better than before. And I think what Simon Pegg was trying to do with this story was take them off the bridge of the Enterprise and put them on a planet. Much like the old episodes, you know, when they used to have like these planetary episodes where they had all these problems they had to figure out on the planets, etc, etc. So he wanted to kind of give a familiar Star Trek story here, and I think this film does deliver on that promise of a very traditional Star Trek story. And it's great because they mix it up a little bit, because when they initially get down on the planet, like, the crew's separated, so you get like groups of the crew together, and you get some absolutely fantastic scenes between Spock and McCoy, Zachary Quinto and Carl Urban, and we see this chemistry between them. And there's 2 or 3 scenes between them when they first get to the planet and Spock's injured, and McCoy has to help him and basically save his life, and you see this real respect and bond between these 2 characters that you always knew was there. It's almost like an unwritten thing. They don't need to say it, but it was just brilliant. As are the other crew members. They're kind of all separated on this planet, and they've all got their own little things to do before they all kind of meet up. And I thought much of the planetary stuff here was brilliant and nicely done, if a little bit bland, and by that I mean the set design and the planet design I felt was a little bit bland. And I thought where this film fell down a little bit was in its storytelling approach to A, this planet, B, Idris Elba's character, we only really learn of him and his intentions quite late into the film. We learn who he is and why he's doing the things he's doing, and it when the penny drops, it all makes sense and it's brilliant. It's just I don't think they explored that enough in the film. I would have loved to have learned more about him and his crew and what led him to turn his back on everything and basically want to destroy the Federation. They don't really, I don't think, give a big enough explanation as to why he's doing all these things. At the very core of him, he would still have been an honourable man. It must have been something really terrible that happened, and I think it only briefly touches on that. So I think they missed a trick there. I wasn't overly keen on what they did to the Enterprise in this. It seems like when they want to make an impact in a Star Trek film, I know what we'll do. We'll destroy the Enterprise. We've seen that so many times in the movies now, whether it be Kirk's crew, Picard's crew, or this new crew. It seems like the Enterprise, it gets a battering in all the films, certainly the first two, Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness, but it comes through. And this one, I felt it got taken out way too easy by technology that we don't learn an awful lot about. And then at the end, they come up with this crackpot scheme as how they're going to get this ancient starship to this starbase sort of thing, by playing music and stuff like that. That was a little bit like that with that storyline. So I think they take a few liberties here with the story, which you could argue they did with the other films as well, but I think it stands out a little bit more in this film. But it doesn't change the fact that it's a really fun Star Trek film. There's some absolutely brilliant effects, the chemistry's all there, and much of the film really, really worked. I thought Sophia Boutella was a great addition to the cast. I thought she brought quite a lot. Idris Elba, I thought, is a great actor, and he plays actually a good role here in this film. I just wanted to learn more about him and wanted to learn more about his intentions and things like that. It almost felt a little bit rushed, his storyline, or they didn't expand on it enough. But it was great. I really liked the fact that they, gave Kirk and Spock these moral decisions, that they're going to make these big decisions in their careers and stuff like that. The fact that Spock and Uhura kind of split in this one, and so they gave the characters new things to do and think about, and us as audience members to do and think about, and it was a different story compared to the first two. So it's a good Star Trek film is what I'm trying to say, and let's hope that we do get another Star Trek film. They keep talking about it and then it misses the mark, it doesn't get started. I personally think they need to cut down the budget on the next one, make it less than 100 million, and have a more enclosed story, I think, and make it a little bit smaller, the story, and focus on the characters. You've got this great chemistry. You don't need to make it big and bad and massive explosions and blowing up enterprises and this, that and the other. You can make it a smaller enclosed story and still be brilliant Star Trek, and we as fans would definitely want to see that. So thanks for sticking through me through all these Star Trek reviews. I hope you have enjoyed them. If you want to see the rest of my Star Trek views, there's a playlist on the channel. Go in there, and I've reviewed every single Star Trek film right from the beginning up to this one, Star Trek Beyond. If I had the time, I would start reviewing the original series one episode at a time, but I seriously doubt I'm going to have the time to do that, but it's something I would hope to get round to doing eventually. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for your support. I will be back with more content on Screen Stars, of course, very, very soon.